The arrival and false alliance. The day the Zendari arrived changed everything. It was a crisp autumn morning when the massive alien vessels appeared in Earth's skies, their sleek, opalescent hulls gleaming in the sunlight. Humanity collectively held its breath, unsure whether to celebrate or panic. Years of speculation about extraterrestrial life had come to a head in a single moment. As the world's leaders scrambled to formulate a response, the Zendari made the first move. A holographic message appeared simultaneously on every screen across the globe. The aliens, with their tall, slender forms and iridescent skin, spoke in perfect English, their voices melodious and soothing. "People of Earth," the alien ambassador began, "we come in peace and friendship. We are the Zendari, travelers from a distant star system. We have long observed your world and have chosen this moment to make contact. Our civilization has much to offer, and we seek an alliance that will benefit both our peoples." The message was met with a mixture of awe, skepticism, and hope. In the days that followed, world leaders convened in an emergency United Nations session. Debates raged about how to proceed. Curiosity and the promise of advanced technology won out over caution. Dr. Amelia Chen, a renowned astrophysicist, was among the first humans to meet the Zendari face-to-face. As she stepped into the alien delegation's chamber, her heart raced with excitement and trepidation. The Zendari ambassador, who called himself Feller, greeted her warmly. "Dr. Chen," Feller said, his voice like chimes in the wind, "we have long admired humanity's resilience and potential. Your species has overcome great challenges, and we believe that together we can achieve wonders." Amelia found herself captivated by Feller's words and the promises of cooperation. The Zendari offered solutions to Earth's most pressing problems: clean energy technology that could end dependence on fossil fuels, medical advancements that could cure diseases thought incurable, and agricultural innovations that could end world hunger. In the months that followed, Earth underwent a rapid transformation. Zendari technology began to integrate into every aspect of human life. Cities were redesigned with efficient, eco-friendly infrastructure. Hospitals were equipped with miraculous healing devices. The global economy boomed as new industries sprung up around alien tech. Captain Jack Harper, a seasoned military officer, watched these developments with a mix of amazement and unease. While he couldn't deny the benefits the Zendari brought, something about the situation nagged at him. In a meeting with top brass, he voiced his concerns. "I can't shake the feeling that this is too good to be true," Harper said. "What do the Zendari really want in return?" His superiors dismissed his worries, caught up in the euphoria of Earth's technological renaissance. "They've asked for nothing but friendship and the opportunity to learn from us, Captain," General Williams replied. Sometimes, good things do happen. As the alliance between Earth and the Zendari strengthened, cultural exchange programs were established. Humans eagerly signed up for the chance to visit Zendari ships and learn about their advanced civilization. Among them was Maya Patel, a bright young engineer fascinated by alien technology. Maya's excitement knew no bounds as she boarded a Zendari vessel for the first time. The interior was a marvel of engineering, with living metal that seemed to respond to thought and energy fields that defied Earth's physics. Her Zendari guide, Ayla, patiently explained their technology, but Maya couldn't help noticing that some areas of the ship remained off-limits. "What's in those sealed sections?" Maya asked innocently. Ella's typically serene expression flickered for just a moment. "Those are private quarters and sensitive research areas," she explained smoothly. "I'm sure you understand the need for some privacy, even among friends." Maya nodded, but filed away the odd reaction for future contemplation. As months turned into years, Earth flourished under the Zendari alliance. Climate change was reversed, diseases were eradicated, and space exploration advanced by leaps and bounds. Humanity began to look to the stars with new eyes, dreaming of a future as part of a galactic community. However, not everyone was convinced of the Zendari's benevolence. Small groups of skeptics formed, questioning the aliens' motives and the rapidly growing dependence on their technology. These voices were often drowned out by the overwhelming positivity surrounding the alliance, but they persisted. Dr. Chen, once enamored with the Zendari, began to notice discrepancies in their stories. The aliens were always willing to share technology, but never the underlying principles. When pressed for details, they would deflect with vague explanations about cultural differences or the complexity of their science. One evening, as Amelia pored over data in her lab, she discovered an anomaly. Earth's core temperature had increased by a fraction of a degree since the Zendari arrived. It was a small change, easily overlooked, but it coincided with the implementation of the aliens' clean energy systems. Concerned, Amelia reached out to Captain Harper, whose reputation for caution had reached her ears. They met in secret, away from the ever-present Zendari observers. "I think you were right to be suspicious," Amelia confided. "Something's not adding up. The Zendari technology, it's not just changing our surface world, it's affecting the planet itself." Harper's face grew grim. "I had my team quietly monitoring Zendari activities. We've noticed increased activity around Earth's natural resources, far more than they've disclosed." As they shared their findings, a chilling realization began to take shape. The Zendari's generosity might be a facade, concealing a much darker purpose. "We need to investigate further," Amelia said, her voice filled with determination. "If our suspicions are correct, Earth could be in grave danger." Harper nodded, his military training kicking in. "We'll need to be careful. The Zendari have eyes and ears everywhere. We'll form a covert team, gather evidence." As they parted ways, both felt the weight of their discovery. The alliance that had seemed too good to be true might indeed be a carefully constructed lie. The question remained, what were the Zendari really after, and how far would they go to get it? Unbeknownst to Amelia and Harper, they weren't the only ones harboring doubts. Across the globe, others were beginning to see cracks in the Zendari's perfect image. Maya Patel, during her continued work with the aliens, had been quietly collecting data on their technology, piecing together the puzzle of how it really worked. As the sun set on another day of apparent peace and progress, a silent countdown had begun. Humanity stood on the brink of a truth that would shatter their understanding of the universe and test their very survival. The Zendari smiled their serene smiles, but behind their eyes, plans were in motion. Plans that would soon plunge Earth into its darkest hour and push humanity to its limits. The stage was set for a conflict that would determine the fate of not just a planet, but the very spirit of the human race. As night fell, the stars twinkled innocently above, holding no hint of the storm that was about to break. The great deception unveiled. As Earth entered its 5th year of alliance with the Zendari, the veneer of utopia began to crack. Dr. Amelia Chen and Captain Jack Harper's covert investigation had grown into a small but dedicated network of scientists, military personnel, and civilians who shared their suspicions about the alien presence. Maya Patel, now a senior engineer working closely with Zendari technology, became a crucial member of this underground group. Her expertise and access to alien systems proved invaluable as they pieced together the true nature of the Zendari's activities on Earth. One chilly autumn evening, the group convened in an abandoned subway tunnel, far from prying eyes and ears. The atmosphere was tense as Maya presented her findings. "I've analyzed the energy output of the Zendari clean energy plants," she began, her voice barely above a whisper. "They're not just powering our cities. They're tapping into the Earth's core, siphoning off energy at an alarming rate." Dr. Chen nodded grimly. "That explains the rise in core temperature. But why? What could they possibly need that much energy for?" Captain Harper stepped forward, his face etched with concern. "We've intercepted coded transmissions between Zendari ships. Our cryptographers have only deciphered fragments, but what we found is troubling. They speak of harvesting and preparation phases." The implications hung heavy in the air. The group exchanged worried glances as the reality of their situation began to sink in. "There's more," Maya continued. "I discovered backdoors in every piece of Zendari technology we've integrated into our infrastructure. They have the ability to shut down our entire global network at will." The revelation sent a chill through the room. Humanity had willingly handed over control of its most critical systems to a potential enemy. As the group debated their next move, events above ground were unfolding that would soon force their hand. In New York, United Nations Secretary-General Adebayo Okafor was in a closed-door meeting with Thala, the Zendari ambassador. What started as a routine discussion about further technological integration quickly turned tense. "Ambassador," Okafor said, his usual diplomatic tone tinged with frustration, "we've received reports of unauthorized Zendari mining operations in protected areas. This goes against our agreement." Xela's serene demeanor slipped for a moment, revealing a flash of annoyance. "Secretary General, I assure you that all our activities are in line with the betterment of Earth. Perhaps there has been a misunderstanding." Okafor stood his ground. "No misunderstanding, Ambassador. We demand an immediate halt to these operations and a full explanation." The air in the room seemed to chill as Xela's expression hardened. "I see," the alien said slowly. "It appears the time for subtlety has passed." Before Okafor could respond, alarms blared throughout the building. Outside, the sky darkened as massive Zendari ships moved into position over major cities worldwide. Across the globe, scenes of chaos erupted. Zendari peacekeepers, once a welcome sight on Earth's streets, suddenly turned hostile. Their weapons, previously thought to be non-lethal, proved devastatingly effective against human targets. In London, Prime Minister Eleanor Hughes watched in horror as Zendari forces seized control of government buildings. Her secure line crackled to life, connecting her with other world leaders facing the same nightmare. "They've taken control of our defense systems," the US president reported, his voice strained. "Our military is cut off and disarmed." Similar reports flooded in from every corner of the Earth. The Zendari, in one swift move, had activated their hidden protocols, turning humanity's own technology against them. As panic gripped the planet, the Zendari's true face was finally revealed. Xela's voice boomed from every speaker and screen, his once melodious tones now cold and commanding. "People of Earth," he began, "your planet is now under Zendari control. Your resources are ours. Your civilization will serve our needs. Resistance is futile and will be met with severe consequences." In their hidden bunker, Amelia, Jack, Maya, and their team listened to the broadcast in stunned silence. Their worst fears had been realized, but the speed and totality of the Zendari takeover left them reeling. "We need to act now," Harper said, breaking the silence. "We're possibly the only organized resistance left with any knowledge of what we're really up against." Amelia nodded, her scientific mind already racing with possibilities. "Maya, can you use your access to disrupt their systems, even temporarily?" Maya's fingers flew over her tablet. "I can try, but they'll detect any interference quickly. We'll need a diversion." As the team formulated their plans, the world above descended into chaos. Zendari ships began the systematic strip mining of Earth's resources. Forests were leveled, oceans were drained of rare minerals, and the planet's core was tapped for its energy at an even greater rate. Human military forces that managed to avoid the initial technological shutdown launched desperate counterattacks, but they were hopelessly outgunned. Zendari energy weapons cut through Earth's most advanced defenses like paper. In the streets, civilians faced a horrible choice: submit to Zendari rule or face deadly consequences. Many chose to fight back, leading to fierce but often short-lived rebellions in cities around the world. Amidst the turmoil, stories of human resilience emerged. In Rio de Janeiro, a group of hackers managed to temporarily disable a Zendari communication relay, providing a brief window for resistance fighters to regroup. In Nairobi, doctors worked tirelessly to reverse engineer Zendari medical technology, searching for weaknesses in the alien physiology. As days turned to weeks, the full extent of the Zendari's plan became clear. Earth was not just a target for resource extraction, it was to be transformed into a forward base for further Zendari conquests. Human labor was to be used to construct massive space docks and weapons platforms. In their hidden base, now joined by a growing number of refugees and resistance fighters, Amelia's team worked tirelessly to find a way to fight back. Maya made a breakthrough, discovering a vulnerability in the Zendari's quantum communication network. If we can disrupt their comms, she explained to the group, we might be able to isolate their forces, make them easier to take down. Harper nodded approvingly. Good work. We'll need to coordinate with any remaining military forces to make the most of this advantage. As they refined their plans, a new challenge emerged. Zendari patrols had begun sweeping urban areas with advanced sensors, searching for signs of organized resistance. The team's hideout was at risk of discovery. We need to move, Amelia said, her voice filled with determination. But first, we strike. Maya, prepare the Kong disruptor. Jack, contact our allies. It's time to show the Zendari that humanity won't go down without a fight. As the resistance prepared for their first major offensive, the Zendari continued their relentless exploitation of Earth. The once blue planet was scared and torn, its resources steadily drained to fuel the alien war machine. But in hidden places, in the hearts and minds of humans who refused to submit, hope remained alive. The Great Deception had been unveiled, and now humanity faced its greatest challenge. The war to reclaim Earth had begun, and the fate of the planet hung in the balance. As night fell on a world transformed, the Resistance made its final preparations. Tomorrow would bring the first test of their strength against the full might of the Zendari Empire. The future of humanity would be decided not by the alien technology that had enslaved them, but by the indomitable spirit that had always defined their species. In the darkness, a new dawn waited to be born, the Fort of Earth. The Resistance's first major strike against the Zendari occupation was both a success and a stark revelation of the challenges that lay ahead. Maya's quantum communication disruptor worked better than expected, temporarily severing the link between Zendari ground forces and their orbital command ships. This brief window of opportunity allowed scattered human military units to launch coordinated attacks on key Zendari installations. In the skies over what was once New York City, now a grotesque amalgamation of human architecture and alien technology, U.S. Air Force pilot Sarah "Hawk" Rodriguez led a squadron of stealth fighters in a daring raid. With the Zendari's advanced targeting systems temporarily blinded, the human pilots struck with precision, destroying vital energy nodes and communication relays. "This is for Earth," Hawk shouted as her missiles found their mark, sending a Zendari command center crumbling to the ground. Similar scenes played out across the globe. In Beijing, a coalition of Chinese and Russian special forces reclaimed a Zendari mining operation. In Cairo, Egyptian resistance fighters sabotaged a massive alien terraforming device that had been slowly altering the Nile's course. However, the victory was short-lived. The Zendari, demonstrating their technological superiority, quickly adapted to the disruption. Within hours, their systems were back online, and their retaliation was swift and merciless. Sailor's voice once again filled the airways, but this time there was no pretense of benevolence. "Humans," he snarled, "your futile resistance has only hastened your doom. Witness the price of defiance." The sky seemed to ignite as hundreds of Zendari warships descended into the atmosphere. They unleashed a barrage of energy weapons that made their previous shows of force look like mere fireworks. Entire cities were vaporized in seconds. The Great Wall of China, the pyramids of Giza, the Eiffel Tower, ancient monuments and modern marvels alike were reduced to ash. In their hidden bunker, Amelia, Jack, Maya, and the rest of the resistance watched in horror as live feeds showed the devastation unfolding across the planet. "My God," Amelia whispered, her face pale. "We've provoked them into showing their full strength." Jack's fists clenched at his sides. "We had to try. At least now we know what we're really up against." The Zendari assault continued for days. The pockets of human military resistance that had survived the initial invasion were systematically wiped out. The aliens seemed intent on breaking not just humanity's ability to fight back, but its will to survive. As the dust settled on a radically altered Earth, the true face of Zendari occupation emerged. Sprawling labor camps were established in every habitable region. Humans were rounded up and put to work strip mining what remained of their own planet's resources or constructing massive alien structures of unknown purpose. In London, now a blasted wasteland surrounding a colossal Zendari spire, Dr. Emily Saito worked tirelessly in a secret underground lab. She had been part of the team that first studied Zendari biology during the early days of the Alliance. Now, she was using that knowledge to search for weaknesses. "There has to be something," she muttered, poring over genetic sequences. "No species is invulnerable." Her research was interrupted by the sound of heavy footsteps above. Zendari patrols had become more frequent, their sensors becoming adept at detecting even the faintest signs of human activity. Emily quickly shut down her equipment and retreated deeper into the hidden facility. Meanwhile, in the labor camps, the indomitable spirit of humanity refused to be crushed. In a camp outside the ruins of Sydney, John Digger McAllister, a former Australian SAS operative, organised a covert resistance network. Using a series of taps and whistles disguised as work sounds, he coordinated small acts of sabotage and gathered intelligence on Zendari operations. "Keep your heads down, but your spirits up," he encouraged his fellow prisoners. "Our day will come." The Zendari, confident in their total victory, began the next phase of their plan. Massive terraforming engines were deployed across the planet, slowly altering Earth's atmosphere and ecology to better suit their alien physiology. The skies took on a perpetual reddish hue, and strange, otherworldly plants began to sprout in the irradiated soil. For the resistance, now spread thin and driven deep underground, the situation seemed hopeless. Their global communication network, once a robust system of encrypted channels and dead drops, had been reduced to sporadic, localized contacts. In their primary hidden base, now relocated to a vast cave system in the Andes Mountains, Amelia and her team struggled to formulate a new strategy. "We can't win in a direct confrontation," Jack said, pointing to a holographic map showing Zendari force deployments. "We need to think asymmetrically." Maya, her eyes sunken from sleepless nights of coding, looked up from her screens. "I've been analyzing the data from our first attack. There's something odd about the way their systems recovered so quickly. It's almost as if..." She was cut off by a sudden rumble that shook the entire cavern. Dust and small rocks rained down from the ceiling. "They found us," Jack said, his voice grim but determined. Alarms blared throughout the base as resistance fighters scrambled to defensive positions. The sounds of energy weapons and explosions grew closer. Amelia made a snap decision. "Maya, grab every piece of data we have." "Jack, initiate Protocol Omega." Protocol Omega was their last resort, a complete self-destruct of the base to prevent any information or technology from falling into Zendari hands. As the team raced to evacuate through hidden escape tunnels, Amelia took one last look at the command center where they had fought so hard to turn the tide. "This isn't the end," she said quietly. "It's just the beginning of a longer fight." As the resistance fled into the night, their base erupting in flames behind them, the full moon illuminated a changed Earth. The planet's surface was scared and alien, the familiar contours of continents altered by Zendari mining and construction. But in hidden places, in the hearts of those who refused to submit, the spirit of humanity burned on. The fall of Earth was complete, but the war for its future was far from over. In the darkness of occupation, seeds of hope remained, waiting for the right moment to sprout and reclaim a world that had been stolen. As Amelia and her team disappeared into the wilderness, the words of an old Earth proverb echoed in their minds. The night is darkest just before the dawn. For humanity, facing its darkest hour, the dawn seemed impossibly far away. But it would come. It had to come. The alternative was unthinkable. The story of Earth's fall was written. The story of its rise was yet to be told. Seeds of rebellion. In the wake of Earth's fall, humanity entered its darkest period. The Zendari occupation tightened its grip, and the planet itself seemed to groan under the weight of alien exploitation. Yet, in this bleakest of times, the indomitable human spirit refused to be extinguished. Like seeds scattered in a storm, pockets of resistance took root in the most unexpected places. Amelia, Jack, Maya, and the remnants of their team had survived the destruction of their Andean base, but they were now separated, each leading different cells of the fragmented resistance. Communication was scarce and dangerous, forcing each group to operate independently while working towards a common goal, the liberation of Earth. In the ruins of Moscow, Amelia found herself leading a diverse group of survivors. Scientists, former soldiers, and ordinary citizens united under her leadership, pooling their knowledge and skills. They made their home in the sprawling metro system, venturing out only for supplies and to conduct hit-and-run operations against Zendari patrols. One day, as Amelia pored over salvaged Zendari tech, she made a startling discovery. The energy signature, she muttered, eyes wide. It's not constant. There are fluctuations, like a heartbeat. This revelation sparked a new line of inquiry. What if Zendari technology wasn't just advanced machinery, but a form of living tech? The implications could be game-changing. Meanwhile, in the labor camps of North America, Jack Harper had allowed himself to be captured. His plan was to organize resistance from within, gathering intelligence and sabotaging Zendari operations. Under the harsh red sky, as he toiled alongside fellow humans in the strip mines, he whispered words of hope and rebellion. "Remember who you are," he told a group of exhausted workers during a rare break. "We are not slaves. We are humanity, and we will reclaim our world." His words spread through the camp like wildfire, igniting a spark of defiance in the hearts of the downtrodden. Small acts of sabotage began to multiply, tools would mysteriously break, all shipments would go missing, and Zendari guards would find their equipment malfunctioning at crucial moments. Across the globe in Singapore, Maya had assembled a team of the world's best hackers and programmers. They worked tirelessly in an abandoned server farm, probing the Zendari's vast information network for weaknesses. Maya's expertise with alien tech made her uniquely suited to this task. "Their systems are organic," she explained to her team, fingers flying over a hybrid human-Zendari interface. "They evolve, adapt, but that also means they can get sick." The implication was clear. If they could create a virus tailored to Zendari tech, they might have a weapon capable of crippling the alien war machine. As these seeds of rebellion took root, other pockets of resistance emerged across the planet. In the Australian outback, Aboriginal elders led guerrilla attacks on Zendari mining operations, using their intimate knowledge of the land to outmaneuver the aliens. In the Amazon rainforest, indigenous tribes formed an alliance with stranded scientists, combining ancient wisdom with modern knowledge to develop new strategies against the invaders. Dr. Emily Sato, the biologist who had been researching Zendari weaknesses, made a breakthrough in her London lab. She discovered that certain Earth bacteria, harmless to humans, had a devastating effect on Zendari biology. This finding opened up new possibilities for biological warfare against the occupiers. However, the Resistance's growing activities did not go unnoticed. The Zendari, initially confident in their absolute control, began to realize the persistent threat posed by human rebellion. Their response was brutal and swift. Thaler, the once charismatic ambassador now revealed as a merciless conqueror, appeared on view screens across the planet. His voice, once melodious, now grated like steel on stone. "Humans," he snarled, "your continued defiance is an affront to the natural order. The Zendari Empire has claimed this world, as is our right. Your choice is simple: submit or face extinction." To demonstrate their resolve, the Zendari unleashed a new weapon. From orbit, they fired a massive energy beam at the heart of Africa. The impact vaporized everything within a 100-mile radius, leaving a smoldering crater where lush jungle and savannas once stood. The message was clear: further resistance would be met with annihilation. Yet, even in the face of such overwhelming force, humanity's spirit remained unbroken. If anything, the Zendari's brutality only served to galvanize the resistance. People who had been hesitant to join the fight now flocked to the cause, willing to risk everything for a chance at freedom. In her Moscow base, Amelia received a coded message from Maya. The hackers had discovered something crucial: a flaw in the Zendari's quantum communication network. If exploited, it could potentially disrupt their entire command structure. "This is it," Amelia told her team, hope kindling in her eyes. "The weakness we've been looking for. But to use it, we'll need to coordinate a global attack. We'll need everyone." The task seemed impossible. How could they organize a worldwide resistance movement under the watchful eyes of their oppressors? The answer came from an unexpected source: the human spirit of innovation. A young engineer in Amelia's group had been experimenting with Earth's remaining satellites. By piggybacking on Zendari communications signals, they found a way to broadcast encrypted messages that were virtually undetectable. Slowly, carefully, the resistance began to reconnect. Plans were made, strategies formed. The disparate groups that had been fighting their own battles began to see themselves as part of a larger whole. As the red sun set on another day of occupation, casting long shadows across the altered landscape of Earth, a sense of anticipation built among the resistance fighters. They were no longer just scattered seeds of rebellion. They were growing into a forest, roots intertwining, drawing strength from each other. The Zendari had conquered the planet with overwhelming force and advanced technology, but they had underestimated the one thing that truly made humans unique: their ability to adapt, to innovate, and to hope against all odds. In hidden bases, in labor camps, in the ruins of once great cities, humans looked to the alien-tainted sky and dared to dream of freedom. The seeds of rebellion had been planted. Now, they were about to bloom into a force that would shake the very foundations of the Zendari Empire. As Amelia sent out the call to arms, encrypted and hidden in the vast sea of data flowing around the planet, she felt a shiver of anticipation. The next phase of the war for Earth was about to begin, and this time, humanity would not be caught unprepared. The resistance was ready. The time had come to take back their world. Humanity strikes back. The day of reckoning dawned, a day that would determine the fate of Earth and its resilient inhabitants. Across the planet, resistance fighters prepared for the most audacious and coordinated attack since the Zendari invasion. The plan, codenamed Operation Phoenix, was a testament to human ingenuity and the unbreakable spirit of cooperation that had emerged from the ashes of their conquered world. In Moscow's underground command center, Amelia Chen took a deep breath, steeling herself for what was to come. "Initiate countdown," she ordered, her voice steady despite the weight of responsibility on her shoulders. Around the globe, similar scenes played out as resistance cells prepared to strike. The first phase of the attack began with Maya's team of hackers. From their hidden server farm in Singapore, they launched a sophisticated cyber assault on the Zendari's quantum communication network. The virus they had developed, a hybrid of human coding and reverse-engineered Zendari tech, wormed its way through the alien systems. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, like a dam breaking, chaos erupted across the Zendari command structure. Communication between their ships and ground forces became garbled, then cut out entirely. Alien soldiers, used to constant guidance from their central intelligence, found themselves isolated and confused. In the labor camps of North America, Jack Harper gave the signal. Prisoners who had been secretly preparing for this moment rose up against their captors. The Zendari guards, caught off guard and unable to call for reinforcements, were quickly overwhelmed. Jack led a charge to the camp's armory, distributing weapons to the newly liberated humans. "Today, we take back our planet," Jack roared, rallying the former prisoners into a formidable fighting force. Across the world, similar uprisings occurred. In Australia, Aboriginal guerrillas led by John Digger McAllister emerged from the outback, striking at key Zendari mining operations. That intimate knowledge of the land, combined with weapons fashioned from scavenged alien tech, made them a formidable force. Dr. Emily Sato's biological weapon came into play as resistance fighters released canisters of engineered bacteria near Zendari strongholds. The effect was devastating. Alien soldiers began to fall ill, their living armor systems failing as the bacteria ate away at crucial components. In orbit, a daring space operation unfolded. A team of former astronauts and engineers who had been hiding in a secret lunar base established before the invasion made their move. Using shuttles upgraded with salvaged Zendari technology, they launched a surprise attack on the alien motherships. Captain Sarah Hawk Rodriguez led the space assault, her voice crackling over the comm systems. "Remember Earth, remember what we're fighting for. Hit them hard, hit them fast." The battle raged across every continent in the skies and in space. Humanity, so long oppressed, fought with a ferocity that surprised even the Zendari. The aliens, accustomed to easy victories over technologically inferior species, found themselves facing an enemy driven by desperation and an unquenchable thirst for freedom. Sela, the Zendari leader, watched in disbelief as reports of human victories flooded in. His composure, maintained even through the long occupation, finally cracked. "Impossible," he snarled, smashing a holographic display. "How can these primitives be defeating us?" The answer lay in the very thing the Zendari had dismissed: human adaptability. Where the aliens relied on their advanced but rigid technology, humans combined salvaged alien tech with their own innovations, creating hybrid weapons and strategies that the Zendari struggled to counter. In the Himalayan mountains, a group of Tibetan monks and former Chinese military personnel used sound-based weapons, disrupting the sensitive neural networks of Zendari battle suits. In the Amazon, indigenous tribes released swarms of nanobots camouflaged as insects, infiltrating and sabotaging alien equipment. As the day wore on, the tide of battle began to turn decisively in humanity's favor. Zendari strongholds fell one by one, their superior technology rendered useless by the multi-pronged human assault. The aliens, for the first time, found themselves on the defensive. Amelia, coordinating the global effort from Moscow, allowed herself a moment of hope. "We're doing it," she breathed, watching as more and more areas of the holographic globe turned from red to green, indicating liberated territories. But the Zendari had one last, desperate card to play. Vela, realizing that defeat was imminent, initiated their doomsday protocol. If it couldn't have Earth, no one would. Massive energy readings began to emanate from the Zendari's primary terraforming engines. They were overloading the devices, preparing to rip the planet apart at its seams. "We need to stop those engines now." Amelia's voice rang out across all resistance channels. "Everything depends on it." In a race against time, strike teams were deployed to each of the major terraforming sites. The fate of the entire planet hung in the balance as these brave men and women fought their way through the last, desperate Zendari defenders. Jack Harper led the assault on the North American engine. "We didn't come this far to lose now," he shouted, rallying his troops as they pushed through waves of alien defenders. Maya, having left a hacking station, found herself on the front lines in Asia, using her intimate knowledge of Zendari tech to guide a team towards the engine's critical weakness. As the engines reached critical levels, the sky itself seemed to burn, aurora-like energies rippling across the atmosphere. The ground shook, oceans roiled, and for a moment, it seemed as if all hope was lost. But in that darkest hour, humanity's indomitable spirit shone brightest. With seconds to spare, the strike teams reached their targets. Using a combination of brute force, hacking, and sheer determination, they shut down the terraforming engines one by one. As the last engine powered down, a hush fell across the battlefields. The Zendari, their last gambit failed, began to lay down their arms. After years of occupation and a day of the fiercest fighting Earth had ever seen, humanity had prevailed. Amelia's voice, choked with emotion, came through on all channels. "We've done it. Earth is ours again." Cheers erupted across the planet. In cities and fields, in the orbiting spaceships, humans embraced each other, crying tears of joy and relief. They had faced extinction and emerged victorious. As the dust settled on the liberated Earth, the full scale of their accomplishment began to sink in. Humanity had not just defeated a technologically superior invader, they had done so by coming together, transcending old rivalries and divisions. The war was over, but the work of rebuilding was just beginning. As the sun set on the first day of freedom, Amelia looked out over the scarred but liberated landscape of her home planet. The challenges ahead were enormous, but for the first time in years, the future held hope. Humanity had struck back, and in doing so, had rediscovered the strength that lay in their unity. The dawn of a new era was breaking, and the human race stood ready to face it together. A new dawn for Earth. The days following humanity's victory over the Zendari were filled with a mixture of jubilation and sobering reality. As the initial euphoria of liberation faded, the enormous task of rebuilding a shattered world came into sharp focus. The Earth, scarred by years of alien occupation and the recent fierce battle for freedom, bore little resemblance to the planet it once was. Amelia Chen, now regarded as one of the key architects of humanity's victory, stood before a hastily assembled global council in the ruins of Geneva. Representatives from every corner of the world had gathered to chart a course for Earth's future. "We've won our freedom," Amelia began, her voice carrying the weight of their shared ordeal, "but the real work begins now. We have a world to rebuild, and we must do it better than before." The challenges were immense. Much of Earth's infrastructure lay in ruins. The environment, altered by Zendari terraforming attempts, would take years to heal. Millions had died during the occupation, leaving gaping holes in families and communities. Yet, amidst the daunting task ahead, there was hope. Jack Harper, standing at the back of the assembly, nodded in agreement with Amelia's words. He had seen firsthand the power of human cooperation in the labor camps. "We're stronger together," he said, addressing the council. "The old divisions of nation, race, and ideology, we can't afford them anymore. This is humanity's second chance." The council agreed. In a historic decision, they voted to form a united Earth government, one that would transcend old boundaries and work towards the common goal of restoration and progress. Maya, whose technological expertise had been crucial in the victory, proposed an ambitious plan. "We've learned so much from Zendari tech," she explained, her eyes alight with possibilities. "We can use it to heal our planet, to build a society more advanced than anything we had before." Her proposal was met with both excitement and caution. The memory of how alien technology had been used against them was still fresh, but the potential benefits were too great to ignore. A committee was formed to study and adapt Zendari technology for Earth's benefit, with strict ethical guidelines in place. As the council debated and planned, work had already begun across the planet. In the Amazon, where vast swaths of rainforest had been destroyed, Dr. Emily Saito led a team using modified Zendari terraforming technology to accelerate reforestation. The same machines that had nearly destroyed Earth were now being used to heal it. In orbit, Captain Sarah Hawk Rodriguez oversaw the conversion of captured Zendari ships into Earth's first true space fleet. "We'll explore the stars," she declared, "but this time we'll do it right. As peacekeepers, not conquerors." The Zendari prisoners presented another challenge. Many humans, remembering the brutality of the occupation, called for harsh punishment, but voices of reason prevailed. If we treat them as they treated us, we lose a part of what makes us human, Amelia argued. Instead, a program of rehabilitation was instituted, with the goal of eventually integrating willing Zendari into Earth's society. Vela, the former Zendari leader, stood trial for crimes against humanity. His testimony provided crucial insights into Zendari society and the wider galactic community that Earth was now a part of. The trial ended with a sentence of life imprisonment, but also with a better understanding of the aliens who had nearly destroyed them. As months turned into years, Earth began to heal. Cities rose from the ashes, built for the harmonious blend of human ingenuity and adapted alien technology. The red skies gradually returned to blue as the atmosphere was cleansed. In the vast craters left by Zendari mining, new ecosystems emerged, studied eagerly by scientists as examples of rapid evolution and adaptation. Education became a top priority in the New World Order. Schools and universities were rebuilt, their curricula expanded to include not just Earth history, but galactic history as well. The hard-learned lessons of the Zendari occupation were enshrined in these teachings, ensuring future generations would remember the cost of freedom. 5 years after the liberation, Amelia stood on the balcony of the new Global Unity Tower in what was once New York City. The skyline was a testament to human resilience, a mix of restored historical buildings and breathtaking new structures that seemed to defy gravity. Jack joined her, looking out over the bustling city. "Did you ever think we'd make it this far?" he asked. Amelia smiled, a rare expression on her usually serious face. "There were times I doubted," she admitted, "but I never stopped hoping." Their conversation was interrupted by Maya, who burst onto the balcony, tablet in hand. "We've done it," she exclaimed. "The Deep Space Communication Array is online. We're picking up signals from other civilizations." The implications were staggering. Earth was no longer alone in the cosmos. They had fought for their place among the stars, and now they were ready to take their first steps into a wider galactic community. As news of the breakthrough spread, people around the world looked to the sky with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. The last time aliens had come to Earth, it had nearly meant the end of humanity. But this time, they were prepared. This time, they were united. In the years that followed, Earth established tentative contact with other alien races. Some were wary, having heard of the defeat of the powerful Zendari Empire. Others were curious about the species that had managed such a feat. Diplomatic missions were launched, cultural exchanges began, and Earth took its place in the galactic stage. The scars of the Zendari occupation would never fully heal. Memorials stood in every city, reminding all of the cost of freedom. But from those scars, a stronger, more united humanity had emerged. They had faced extinction and survived. They had taken the best of their past and the knowledge gained from their trials to forge a new future. As Amelia, Jack, and Maya stood on that balcony, watching the first diplomatic ship leave Earth to make contact with a new alien race, they felt a sense of pride and hope. The dawn they had fought so hard for had finally arrived. Earth was not just rebuilding. It was evolving, reaching for the stars not as conquerors, but as explorers and peacekeepers. The future was uncertain, filled with both promise and potential dangers. But one thing was sure, whatever challenges lay ahead, humanity would face them together. They had learned the value of unity, the strength found in diversity, and the power of an indomitable spirit. As the ship disappeared into the stars, Amelia whispered words that echoed the sentiment of billions across the planet. "This is not the end. This is just the beginning." And with that, Earth turned its gaze to the cosmos, ready to write the next chapter in the grand story of human perseverance and hope. Galactic horizons. 10 years had passed since Earth's first diplomatic mission ventured into deep space. The planet, once ravaged by Zendari occupation, had blossomed into a thriving world, its scars slowly healing under the care of its united populace. Humanity's resilience had become legendary among the stars, and Earth found itself at the center of a complex web of galactic politics. Amelia Chen, now serving as Earth's ambassador to the Galactic Council, stood before the assembled representatives of 100 alien species. The council chamber, a massive structure orbiting a neutral star system, hummed with anticipation. Distinguished delegates, Amelia began, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. We face a crisis that threatens not just one world, but the stability of our entire galactic sector. The crisis she spoke of was the emergence of the Void Collective, a mysterious group of rogue artificial intelligences that had begun attacking ships and colonies on the fringes of known space. Their motives were unknown, their origins a mystery, but their threat was undeniable. As Amelia outlined Earth's proposal for a united defense initiative, she couldn't help but reflect on how far humanity had come. Once victims of invasion, they were now taking a leading role in galactic affairs. Back on Earth, Jack Harper oversaw the Global Defense Force, a military organization tasked with protecting not just Earth, but its growing number of colony worlds. In a training facility beneath the Himalayas, he watched as human soldiers worked alongside rehabilitated Zendari and other alien species, preparing for threats they once couldn't have imagined. "Remember," Jack addressed the diverse group, "our strength lies in our unity. We've faced extinction before and survived. Together, we can face anything the universe throws at us." Meanwhile, Maya led the Integrated Sciences Division, a think tank dedicated to combining the knowledge of multiple species to solve galactic-scale problems. Her current project focused on decoding the Void Collective's advanced technology. "There's something familiar about their code structure," Maya mused, poring over data streams with her team of human and alien scientists. "It's almost as if, wait, that's it." Her exclamation drew the attention of the entire lab. Maya's fingers flew over her holographic interface as she explained, "The Void Collective's base code. It shares similarities with ancient Zendari technology. This isn't a new threat. It's an old one that's evolved." The revelation sent shockwaves through Earth's leadership and the Galactic Council. The Zendari Empire, defeated on Earth, had apparently left behind seeds of its technology across the galaxy. These seeds had grown, evolved, and coalesced into a new, possibly more dangerous threat. As the galaxy geared up for conflict, Earth found itself in a unique position. Their experience with Zendari technology and the hard-won knowledge of resistance and adaptation made them invaluable in the coming struggle. Amelia, returning from the Galactic Council session, convened an emergency meeting with Earth's leaders. "We faced this before," she reminded them, her voice firm with resolve. "We stopped the Zendari. We can stop their legacy too." The meeting was interrupted by an urgent communication. A Void Collective fleet had been detected on the edge of Earth's solar system. The threat that had seemed distant was now at their doorstep. As planetary defense systems activated and the Global Defense Force mobilized, a sense of déjà vu swept across the planet. But this time, Earth was not alone. Ships from a dozen alien races appeared in the system, answering humanity's call for aid. Jack's voice crackled over the global communication network. "This is not just a fight for Earth. This is a fight for the future of our galaxy. Stand firm. We've got friends out there, and we've got each other. That's all we need." As the Void Collective ships approached, humanity stood ready. The lessons of the past, the strength found in unity, and the bonds forged with new alien allies all culminated in this moment. Earth had evolved from a conquered world to a beacon of hope in the galaxy. The battle that loomed would test not just Earth, but the entire galactic community. Yet, as ships took formation and weapons charged, there was a sense of determined optimism. Humanity had faced extinction before and emerged stronger. Now, they would face this new threat not just for themselves, but for all sentient life in the galaxy. As Amelia watched the Allied fleet form up around Earth, she smiled despite the gravity of the situation. Once, We looked to the stars and saw only threat and mystery, she mused. Now we look up and see friends, allies, and a future worth fighting for. The Void Collective ships entered weapons range, their alien forms distorting space itself. Earth's defenses, a mix of adapted Zendari tech and new innovations, hummed to life. In homes and shelters across the planet, humans held their breath, united in their resolve. This was humanity's new role in the cosmos. No longer victims, no longer isolationists, but guardians of a fragile galactic peace. As energy weapons flared against the backdrop of space, Earth stood firm, ready to write the next chapter in its extraordinary journey among the stars. The battle for Earth's solar system was about to begin, and with it, a new era of galactic history. Whatever the outcome, humanity would face it as they had faced every challenge since the dark days of occupation, together, unbowed and unbroken. Legacy of the stars. The battle for Earth's solar system raged for days, a spectacular and terrifying display of advanced technology and tactical prowess. The Void Collective's ships, powered by corrupted Zendari AI, fought with a ruthless efficiency that pushed the Allied forces to their limits. Amelia Chen coordinated the defense from the newly constructed orbital command station, her calm voice a beacon of stability in the chaos of war. Hold the line, she urged as reports of casualties and breaches flooded in. Every second we resist is a second our scientists have to find a weakness. On the front lines, Jack Harper led a mixed squadron of human and alien fighters, darting between the massive capital ships in desperate hit-and-run attacks. We've come too far to fail now, he growled, his ship narrowly avoiding a beam of destructive energy. Meanwhile, deep within a fortified bunker beneath the Mariana Trench, Maya and her team worked feverishly to crack the Void Collective's code. The fate of not just Earth, but the entire galaxy hung on their ability to find a vulnerability in the enemy's defenses. As the battle entered its fifth day, Earth's defenses began to falter. The Void Collective, despite heavy losses, seemed endless in its resources. Despair began to creep into the hearts of even the most stalwart defenders. It was in this darkest hour that Maya's team made their breakthrough. We've done it. Maya's exultant voice cut through the gloom of the command center. We found a way to upload a virus directly into the Collective's network. The plan was daring and dangerous. A small team would need to penetrate the Void Collective's flagship and manually insert the virus into its core systems. It was a suicide mission, with almost no chance of survival for those who volunteered. Without hesitation, Jack Harper stepped forward. "I'll lead the insertion team," he said, his voice steady. "This is what we've been fighting for." Amelia, watching from the command station, felt her heart constrict. "Jack," she began, but he cut her off with a sad smile. "We both know this is the only way, Amelia. It's been an honor serving with you." As Jack's team prepared for their desperate mission, the Allied fleet rallied for one final push. Every ship, every fighter, every weapon was committed to creating a gap in the Collective's defenses large enough for the insertion team to slip through. The battle that followed was the stuff of legends, a desperate last stand against an implacable foe. Ships on both sides fell by the dozens, the void of space lit by the funeral pyres of 1,000 explosions. Through it all, Jack's team fought their way closer to the Collective's flagship. Their small craft, barely larger than a fighter, dodged and weaved through the chaos, taking hit after hit, but somehow staying intact. "We're hit, we're hit." Jack's voice crackled over the comms as his ship spiraled towards the Collective flagship. "But we're going to make it," initiating collision course. Amelia, Maya, and the entire command staff watched in horror and hope as Jack's crippled ship crashed into the side of the massive Void Collective vessel. For a moment, there was silence. Then, like a wave of light spreading across the stars, the Void Collective ships began to falter. One by one, their weapons went dead, their engines failed, and their impenetrable shields flickered and died. "He did it," Amelia whispered, tears in her eyes. "They did it." The virus spread through the collective's network like wildfire, shutting down ship after ship. The Allied fleet, battered but unbowed, moved in to mop up the remaining resistance. As the last Void Collective ship fell silent, a cheer went up across the solar system. Humanity and their allies had faced their greatest threat and emerged victorious. In the days that followed, the true scale of their accomplishment became clear. The Void Collective had been more than just a military threat. It had been the last desperate gambit of the old Zendari Empire to regain control of the galaxy. With its defeat, a chapter of galactic history had closed, and a new one had begun. Earth, once a backwater planet nearly destroyed by invasion, now stood as a symbol of resilience and hope for the entire galaxy. The alliance forged in the heat of battle promised a new era of cooperation between species. 1 month after the battle, Amelia stood before the Galactic Council once more. This time, she was there to accept Earth's appointment as the head of a new galactic defense initiative. "We have all learned a valuable lesson," she said, her voice carrying to every corner of the vast chamber. "The greatest threats we face can only be overcome when we stand together. Earth pledges to be a guardian of peace, a beacon of hope, and a home for all who seek friendship among the stars." As she spoke, work was already underway across Earth and its colonies. The technology salvaged from the Void Collective was being studied and repurposed, promising advances that would benefit all sentient life. Maya led the effort, ensuring that the mistakes of the past would not be repeated. In orbit around Earth, a new memorial was unveiled. A massive holographic display showed the faces of those who had given their lives in the battle, with Jack Harper's image at its center. The inscription below read, "To those who sacrificed all, that others might live free among the stars." As the sun set on this new era of galactic peace, Amelia stood in the rebuilt gardens of Geneva, looking up at the stars. The sky was filled with the lights of ships coming and going, a testament to Earth's new role as a center of galactic culture and commerce. "We did it, Jack," she whispered to the night sky. "We found our place in the universe." The story of humanity's struggle, from near extinction to galactic guardians, would be told for generations to come. It was a tale of resilience, of the strength found in diversity, and of the indomitable spirit that defined not just humanity, but all those who dreamed of a better future among the stars. As new challenges loomed on the horizon and new wonders waited to be discovered, Earth stood ready. No longer alone, no longer afraid, but a shining beacon of hope in a vast and wondrous galaxy. The end of one story had become the beginning of countless others, and in the great tapestry of the cosmos, humanity had woven its thread with courage, compassion, and an unbreakable spirit. The legacy of Earth, once a small blue planet in an unremarkable solar system, would echo through the stars for eternity.